Hello, my name is Marnie. Welcome to this vlog on this beautiful Tuesday morning. I arrived yesterday evening after 11 hours of travel. We were surprisingly on time. Anyway, this week I'll have to get some things done. Most important of all, getting some food, which I'm doing right now. And then there's still some university stuff going on. And this evening I'm meeting up with some friends because I'm not the only one leaving after this semester. So we're doing a little farewell meeting. Something just came in the mail and I think I know what it is. I was right that this cover is very ugly. The other one is so much nicer. These are apparently the same editions, at least they continue at the same point. However, at some point they changed the cover design, and why would they do that? I haven't watched the movie, but this looks bad. I think you can't really see it, but for some reason there's like this weird dude in the middle of his neck standing in front of some statues. And maybe that's got something to do with the story, but why couldn't you just keep this? This does also mean that I have a conundrum. Is that the right word? It is now. Because this one stopped in the middle of the story, so I was planning on continuing with this one as soon as possible. However, I didn't manage to finish any of the two books I am also reading. And I can't just put this one away and pick it up at a later date because it is a non-fiction and I am at a point where I can just leave it. But I'm also still reading Mordio and I have just started to continue it and it's extremely good so far. And I don't want to put it down. So I probably just read both of these at the same time. I don't do this often with two novels, like a non-fiction novel is fine, but two novels, my memory isn't that good, so it's always a bit difficult. But these are different enough that it should be fine, right? Yeah, sure. The second problem I'm facing is that I do not have time to read right now. I still need to do the research paper. So I guess what we're going to do is first finish that one, or at least get a bit farther into it before I continue reading my books. Because, you know, university is the priority, unfortunately, sometimes. Being productive isn't working right now. I can't focus. I think there are two problems. First of all, the research paper I'm supposed to work on. It's about populism and democratic backsliding, how these two things might be connected. I am having trouble figuring out what exactly I want to say in my research paper, and also I can't keep my attention on the subject, and I think it's because of me being too much on social media in the last weeks. I usually don't have a lot of screen time, but in the last in the last month it just exploded. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to try to put away the phone for now. I have started tidying up my room a bit because it's a mess. And I'm also going to the gym later, and I'm going to try to not go on Instagram while I'm in the gym. And let's hope that fixes it for the time being. because I want to get done with this paper at some point. Like, preferably next week. I'm actually already done with what I wanted to do. You know, sometimes you just have to sit down an hour or two. I got all the information that I need. I want to start writing the actual paper tomorrow to just sort out the information a bit. I still need to go to the grocery shop, so I guess I'll do that. And then at 9 I'm going to a friend, but until then I guess I could just read something now. I didn't expect to have time today for that, but I'm not complaining. Okay, this is probably going to be the last update for this week. It's because it's already Sunday. I did continue with Mordu. I'm halfway through the actual story because at the end there's a big glossary and also some extra information. I don't think I've tried to explain what happens in here. If you are triggered by anything at all, do not read this book. This deals with heavy themes. There's sex work in here, there's violence, death, somebody is eaten by a dog. If you can't stomach that, do not read this. Apart from that, pretty good. Explaining the world is a bit complicated. Essentially, Mordu is the name of the city that this story is set in, and it is reigned over by somebody called the Master and constantly attacked by firebirds that are sent by the Mistress. Our protagonist Nathan grows up in the slums of this city where there's this mud that can spawn life, but it's not complete life, it's just body parts mixed together, and it's not able to survive. And poor children go out and collect these body parts and sell them to people who can work with the skin or with the flesh. Nathan's father has something called lungworms, which is pretty much what it's called. It's worms in your lung. So he's basically at his deathbed. And Nathan's mother works as a sex worker. Nathan has this thing called the spark, which means that he can create living things himself out of the mud. He can manipulate objects with it. It's not used a lot in the first part of the story because his father told him that he shouldn't use it. And then at some point Nathan just doesn't make enough money anymore by collecting these body parts, and his mother doesn't make enough money to buy medicine for the father. So Nathan is sent with other boys to the Master, and the Master always chooses boys that he wants to work for him. Nobody really knows what's happening to these boys, but the families receive money on a regular basis after the boys have been chosen. Nathan isn't chosen. In fact, he's pretty much strongly rejected by the Master. And so he returns home and falls in with this gang. The members of the gang become his friends. They go on jobs together to steal things from the rich and wealthy. But all this time, there seems to be something special about Nathan. I think I don't want to say much more because it would spoil the book. I do still like it. I don't know if it's a 5-star. I think it might be more of a 4-star. There was a point where I was really irritated by the female character in this book that is supposed to be Nathan's love interest. That has, however, been explained a bit, because there were some things that I thought didn't make sense, like she also grew up in the slums around this mud, but for some reason she just never wanted her clothes to get dirty and needed help by Nathan so he could carry her around, which just didn't make sense if she grew up around those parts. Part of this has been explained by now, and we're now at the part where I'm not sure whom to trust in the story, which I typically like. I want to be unsure about the characters in my books. I don't want it to be easy to understand who's the good and who's the bad guy. So I'm very much enjoying it. I will continue reading this next week, but that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you all the best. See you soon.